Mr. Chairman, I had worked with Chairman Walsh and our subcommittee and our Appropriations Committee on a bipartisan basis to pass this bill today. I'm outraged at what's happened. But a lot more important than that, every serviceman and woman and every veteran in America and every American that loves them and respects them ought to be just as outraged. And it's not just what has just been done by a handful of Republican House members. I think the American people need to understand what's happened this week. 48 hours ago, this House, on a totally partisan basis, passed a budget resolution that, in my personal opinion, put a higher priority on tax breaks for people making over $1 million a year than it put on adequately funding national defense programs and supporting our military troops. We pleaded with our colleagues to vote against that budget resolution. But the vote was partisan and it passed. Let me tell you what that resolution did. It gave Lee Raymond, who just retired as CEO of ExxonMobil, who, by the way, got a $398 million retirement benefit from ExxonMobil. That budget resolution gave him a $2 million dividend tax cut. We said when that budget resolution passed, giving Lee Raymond tax cuts is going to hurt education, health care, job training, and yes, our national defense programs and our servicemen and women and our veterans. But others said, no, that's not going to happen. So let me tell you what's happened as a result of that budget resolution. Our subcommittee, Mr. Walsh's and my and other subcommittee, funding military quality of life, military construction, VA programs, and defense health care, had to accept the $824 million cut below what President Bush said was needed to adequately fund these key national defense programs during a time of war. $824 million cut. What happened? First, we had to accept a $316 million cut in military construction projects that were requested by the administration to implement the base closing process. That means barracks not built, training ranges not built, military facilities not built. But then what was the second result in our subcommittee based on the budget resolution that Mr. Raymond is still smiling about, but our military people ought to be crying about at this moment? We had to fund military defense programs by $735 million below what President Bush said we needed. What's that mean? That's not just a budget number. That means we potentially put at risk health care for our troops fighting in Iraq today, where we're debating budget points of order here. It puts at risk military health care for our retirees, men and women who've already served in Iraq, already served in Afghanistan, already served in Korea, Vietnam, and World War II. Puts that health care system at risk. So that's a $735 million cut below what the administration said we needed. Now, to add outrage to outrage, this technical point of order, caused by the budget gimmicks that were a direct result of the budget resolution passed 2 days ago, will cut $507 million out of vital military construction projects. That may not mean anything to some members on this floor, but it means a lot to the troops at Fort Drum, New York, who've sacrificed immensely in behalf of the American people in our war on terrorism. It means a lot to the people at Camp Pendleton, the Marine Camp Pendleton, when their bachelor enlisted quarters are cut, and the Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion facility will be cut. It will mean a lot, even while Mr. Raymond is smiling, to harm the interest of our troops, our Army troops, at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, at Sunny Point, North Carolina, and Indian Springs, Nevada, and in Korea. This even cuts $2 million in vital construction projects for servicemen and women stationed in Korea today. So what does that all mean? Because the budget resolution pushed through by the House leadership, not by the Appropriations Committee or this subcommittee, the House resolution, the budget resolution passed 2 days ago, is forcing us to cut $1.5 billion out of vital defense programs, even while our troops are risking their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan today. Training facilities, housing facilities, quality of life facilities. It's wrong, and this should not be done. Our military men and women deserve better than this.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Indiana.
Move to